He just got a little older. It's Joe Biden's birthday. The big 82 for the big guy. And Primetime would wish him a happy birthday, but we have rules here. Men don't wish men happy birthdays.
And with real-life Bond villain Elon Musk beavering away on X, spreading a flurry of slurry across the Gooniverse, and Jeff Bezos crouched in a filleting position ready to receive the royal orange cock of the tax-dodging
Warning, the following contains images of animals in their natural habitat. Viewer discretion.
Tax-dodging multi-millionaire felon who's now running the show. America is now a fully fledged plutocracy.
It's just non-stop.
We're ready to get it over with.
It's tiring. I see 1,000 ads running and you're like, who do I vote for? What's going on?
When you say Kamala, let's call the whole thing off.
I want to talk about stepping up and how the Democrats seem to be panicking for no reason.
I do appreciate that the lyrics are, oh my God, I will vote for Trump. Which sounds like someone realising in real time that they're an absolute dipshit.
It is overwhelming because then it turns into, okay, so there's pros and cons with this person and there's pros and cons with this person. It's turning out to where my generation doesn't want to vote.
Donald Trump didn't even get 50%. That's not a mandate. Less than half the country who voted actually think anything of his is a good idea.
Recommended a violent coup attempt after a months-long campaign to overturn the 2020 election, undercut the nation's response to a deadly pandemic that spiraled out of control because he tried to cover it up, lied about its severity, promoted sham treatments for it, said we could cure it by injecting disinfectant and shining powerful lights inside the body.
Wait. I'm going to choose to believe that woman is not the voice of her generation, because that voice is obviously standing right beside her. What a shirt! I have so many questions.
The reality is, Kamala got about the same. But that's not what this video is about. I am sick and tired of all these people who have an opinion but don't step up. George Clooney, this one's for you.
Became the first president since Herbert Hoover to oversee a net job loss. Couldn't figure out how to close an umbrella. Cosplayed as a sanitation worker, even though he almost fell while getting into the truck, and pretended to work at McDonald's, even though he couldn't remember what the fryer was called. Laughed about firing striking workers with the richest man alive. Bragged about refusing to pay overtime and said, I don't want a poor person running the economy.
From why did no one at that local news station catch that? Did he not realise he was wearing that shirt when the camera crew stopped him? Or did he very much realise and that's the only reason he stopped?
Where are you, man? You're on Broadway? That's great.
And I want it on the record, I am not bullying that guy right now. I wouldn't do that because, you know.
Oversaw an increase in corporate profits while manufacturing jobs declined, presided over an unprecedented spike in crime while home prices rose by 30%, the national debt rose by $8 trillion, and the number of Americans without health insurance rose by 3 million, tried to rip health care away from over 20 million Americans, but reassured everyone by saying he had concepts of a plan, told a story about the size of a dead golfer's penis, regaled Boy Scouts with stories of sexy yacht parties, humped the American flag not once but multiple times.
Good night and good luck. That was a great movie. Truly. And I'm glad to hear that you're on Broadway doing it. For how long, dude? Are you free? In a couple of years? Step the fuck up. Living in Europe with your perfect wife, and I understand, my gosh, she is impressive. Way more impressive than you. But now's the time, buddy.
told women he would protect them whether they liked it or not, and put a man who was investigated for cutting the head off a whale with a chainsaw in charge of vaccines and women's health, insulted service members, feuded with Gold Star families, and violated federal law by staging a campaign event at a hallowed military cemetery, doctored a weather map with a Sharpie to lie about the path of a hurricane, threw paper towels at hurricane victims, hosted a speaker at a rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage, claimed windmills cause cancer and kill whales, said you have to flush toilets 15 times, called Hannibal Lecter a lovely man.
Well, by gosh, George Clooney's not qualified. Are you freaking serious? Is that the issue? Because if that's the issue, I've got some really bad news.
His national security advisor called him a dope. His secretary of state called him a moron. His chief of staff called him an idiot and a fascist who said nice things about Hitler and Hitler's generals. He suggested shooting protesters in the legs, and the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff called him a fascist to the core. He took millions from foreign officials, including a possible $10 million bribe from Egypt. His lawyers gave a press conference at a landscaping company.
George Clooney, step the frick up, man. I mean, who the fuck are you talking to? I want to say one more thing about that letter. You have the absolute right to send that. And publish it for all the world to see. I truly hope you bothered to call the White House, not to get permission, but to give them a fucking heads up. Honestly, I don't know if he did or not. Perhaps we'll never know. But George Clooney, where are you, man? Step the fuck up. Come on, man. I know you're busy, but aren't we all?
Lost the popular vote twice, got impeached twice, got indicted 4 times, and was found guilty of 34 felony counts, falsifying business records to pay hush money to a porn star. He asked a crowd whether they'd rather be electrocuted or eaten by a shark. He possibly farted and definitely fell asleep in court. Bragged about overturning Roe v. Wade, called himself the father of IVF while admitting he didn't know what IVF was, called the CEO of Apple, Tim Apple, misspelled his wife's name and his own name.
If only there was somebody who was pretty darn impressive. A wife who's even more impressive. To actually do some public service? I mean, I remember way back when you were on Golden Girls. I didn't just look it up. I remember that shit. I used to love that show. But where in the hell are you, George Clooney? Okay. You're in New York. Great. It's good to have you local. Now, step the fuck up, man.
He said Nikki Haley was the Speaker of the House on January 6th, claimed the price of bacon goes up because the wind doesn't blow, got on Air Force One with toilet paper stuck to his shoe, became the first president in history to stare directly at an eclipse, melted down in a presidential debate where he claimed migrants were eating dogs, spread lies about the federal government's response to a hurricane that caused FEMA workers to relocate due to threats.
This isn't an episode of ER. This damn sure isn't an episode of The Golden Girls. We are in a bad situation, George Clooney. And I don't think the Democrats should change any policies, quite frankly. I think that we need to double down. That's why they win. Because they doubled down. Now, sometimes it doesn't work out. Obviously, Matt Gaetz was never going to happen. But this guy Hemsworth, or whatever the fuck his name is, Hegsworth, he's going to get through. And he's a Christian white nationalist. Says so right on his chest. Ask him to show it to you. Yes. The country's in decline. Republicans have made sure of that since the 80s. Democrats come back and save him. Joe Biden's handing him a great economy. And all these things are true. No one believes it, but it is. And remember it when Donald Trump fucks them all up. Because he will. I fucking guarantee it.
That's who we're allowing into our country. We're not going to have a country any longer. That's who we're allowing in.
dances like he's punching a ghost, held a hate-filled rally at Madison Square Garden, stole classified documents, obstructed attempts to get him back, called climate change a hoax, proposed tariffs that economists say would increase prices and crater the economy, halted an equal pay rule for women, curtailed access to birth control, picked a running mate who mocked childless cat ladies.
But none of that matters. George Clooney. Come on, man. If anybody has a better idea, put it in the comments.
Creeped out everyone when he tried to order donuts and was accused of having sex with a couch, which he did not do, even though he might have, but he didn't, but maybe he did. But he definitely did not. Said Kamala Harris happened to turn black. Claim his crowd on January 6th was bigger than Martin Luther King's Have a Dream speech, was banned from doing business in the state of New York for 3 years, and just recently posed for the single worst photo of any human being that has ever been taken on the face of the planet. So,
as like the economy and the border are the two main issues, plus Trump is fun. He's a fun factor in politics, and my gosh, we need to have more fun in this country. It's too much negativity all the time. Earlier in the angle, we accidentally showed a graphic that had a photo of another vicious anti-Trump figure, Letitia James, when we were talking about Fonnie Willis, so that was our mistake. But they both hate Trump.
Got to eliminate this in 2 years. And we've got to, quite frankly, leave it withering on the vine in 4. I'm Zachariah, Lone Star Liberal, and we will. Y'all take it easy.
Incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy? Happened. Is this crazy?